What's up, everybody, man? Welcome to the Water Pod. We got another installment. First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone that supported the movement thus far, that's liked, shared, subscribed, done all of that thing. It's been an awesome experience. I've had some great guests on, but to be honest, this is probably like the most excitement I've had for a guest. This is one of my most favorite people in the world. She's just a ball of energy and light. And she just gives off so much positive energy. Her aura just shines. Like I've had people tell me that, but I never really knew what it meant until I kind of met her, because I was like, oh, I see. Like people do have auras and they just shine. And then she's got like 100 different things going on at one time. So I guess I relate to her in that way. Great friend of mine. Great friend of mine's wife. Awesome person, Miss Kristi Reagor.
Wow. I want to just end the podcast right now.
Just right there, just right
oh,
there.
It's beautiful. Thank you so much. You're so gracious.
Oh, man. I feel like when I do these intros, people feel like I'm being gracious or maybe even a little facetious or embellishing, but I'm absolutely not. I always enjoy your conversation and your company, and I feel like my listeners would stand to learn a lot from you. Just the way you attack life and the way that you handle situations. It's a blessing to know you. So Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
We're gonna get to know Kristi better. I know her. Like I said, she's a great friend of mine's wife, but that's like a secondary title to who she really is. You know, she if you would have him say it, he's her husband, she's not his wife, because she's definitely his better half. No disrespect, Randy, but I honestly I know Kristi very, very well, because every time we're around we have very deep, intimate conversations, but I'd be lying if I said that I knew like her backstory and what got her to be the person she is. So who are you? Where are you from? How did you grow up?
I'm complete suburbia. I grew up in Mount Pleasant, back before it was annexed, right? I remember when Highway 17 was 2 lanes, like literally one way, one the other. It was woods everywhere. So that's where I grew up. I have 2 older siblings, and my father was a musician.
Nice.
And he was also a newspaper man, as my mom would say. And he was native to Charleston. My mom's from Savannah, Georgia. She came to town, and the way he told it, she tried out to sing for his band, and he was just so smitten. And she loved his shoes, is what she said. She loved his shoes.
See?
So
shoes.
Yes, it is all about the shoes. And so they went and had coffee, and there you are. So. They moved to Mount Pleasant like the day they got married. They knew almost everybody around town. And I went to school downtown because my mom's business was downtown. My father was downtown, so they kind of wanted me over there. My siblings were a little older than me, so by the time I got into 4-year-old kindergarten, like they were already out of the house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
they were off at college. So it was kind of like growing up as an only child, right? But in a kind of an adult world. By the same token, kind of an adult world. So, went to school downtown, did everything I was supposed to, and went off to college, and things sort of started shifting.
Yeah, well, that's very interesting that you say that. You said your father was a musician,
yes.
Correct? Yeah. So, and then you married a musician. So
totally.
They always say we marry our parents, I guess. You know.
Yeah.
Not that Randy's like your dad, but
Randy's a lot like my dad.
Is he? Okay. Well, that's awesome. But that's cool that you have that musicality in your family, so obviously you're attracted to it, and you have a very eclectic taste in music. I know through Randy,
I do.
So I know y'all go to like what is it, Leaf Festival and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What is Leaf Festival? I don't know a lot about it.
We should definitely pitch Leaf right now.
Let's
Everybody
pitch it.
Come, one and all. So
I've been wanting to go. Randy's been like, you gotta come, but I've never went. He was like, you would fit in, dude.
Totally, you'd fit in. Everybody would fit in. It is from Thursday to Sunday, like Thursday at 4:00 to Sunday at 6, and music starts, and they run. Now I think there's like 6 different stages. it's a camp. It's a boys' camp during the summer, but in May and in October they hold the Leaf Festival, which is the Lake Eden Arts Festival, and yeah, we go. Everybody camps out, so like there are places
Sick.
that you can bring your RV or your fifth wheel, and then but there's just like a sea of tents, and
Right.
everybody looks after everybody. The music is excellent. It's just world class music. We've seen anything from like Tibetan throat singers open it to
Oh.
fire dancers and open it. It's just a great time.
Yeah, I
And
remember Randy said that I think India Ari, wasn't she there one time? It's
yes,
like, so I really like India Ari. There was a time in my life where like I was super into her and people were like, what is wrong with you? I was like, she's just the music just, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I love stuff like that where the
she's
music
like
speaks to you.
walking goddess.
Yeah,
Yes, she
yeah,
really
yeah.
was
She gives me like
amazing.
the Erica Badu vibes and
Totally.
stuff, you know? Yeah, that's
Totally.
real
She's
cool.
not quite as edgy as Erica, but
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
both deeply spiritual women.
Yeah, I do like Erica a lot. She like even Alicia Keys is kind of like that, but I think some people have trouble because there's just they have so much depth to them. If you don't know how to really like take it, sometimes a lot of
Yeah.
people you got to be deep to really understand where they're coming from. Sometimes, you know.
Yeah, I think their
Yeah.
strength can definitely be misconstrued.
Right.
Definitely
So
misconstrued.
y'all go check out Leaf because I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to
Yeah.
because it sounds like just a great
And
time.
it's a total family affair too. That's the last pitch for Leaf is our daughter. She's 16 now, and she says she's never felt more safe than when she's at Leaf.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
It's
That-
just a kind of
yeah.
a free for all for kids. Yeah.
Well, I feel like if there's like people like you and Randy, and if he says I'll fit in, then it sounds like it's a place of it's a place of compassionate, empathetic, and just people who want to see people thrive and have a good time and enjoy life, because I know that's what y'all are about, and that's what I'm about. You know. So definitely. So for my listeners and viewers that don't know, Kristi has her hands in a lot of pots and a lot of things. One of for instance, this Cheer Up. This is one of her newest endeavors. Her daughter is a cheerleader, and they saw a void. You know, a lot of men's sports, boys sports, even girls sports. Like everyone gets a lot of love. They got shoe deals. They've got merch, they've got jerseys and all that, but we want the cheerleaders to get some love. So can you tell them about Cheer Up and what that has to do and how that came to be?
Yeah, so Cheer Up is with a dear friend of mine named Teresa Griffin, and
We're calling her Cheerisa from here on out.
Cheerisa, and she is with Top Cheer Talent, and she is an amazing person on the planet. She's an amazing cheer coach. Like she's just awesome, and she inspires these cheerleaders, these young girls and young men that are in the sport. It's such a competitive sport, and it is not, as you mentioned, it's not highly looked at by anybody. But we wanted to bring sort of a different twist in it and not bring it about the school. Right, most of the times you see something that's like Trojan Cheer or
Right.
Warriors Cheer Up or whatever it might be. But we really wanted to bring positive mental health into the equation, because
Absolutely.
at that age, at those stages, even when they're as young as your daughter, and I watch Haven and she's so full of confidence, and it is a matter of time, right, before that there's something that comes in there that can break her down mentally. So we wanted to have
Correct.
slogans that are great for positive mental health. And then, of course, the sport of cheer is so great for the physical health as well.
Absolutely. So that's what drew me in, is because I have a daughter, and like you said, like I know what you're saying. I love that y'all are trying to empower young women and young ladies to really step into their own and not be defined by a school or a team. Like you're not secondary to the basketball team. You're first in your thing. So that's real cool, because I do see that with young women all over the board. That men's sports. I mean, you're seeing it now too, where they're really trying to push women's sports ahead, and they should. Like I feel like I watch it all the time. Like last night I was laying in there watching who was playing Duke and Colorado. It was an excellent game. As exciting as the boys playing earlier. So it's just a stigma, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And hopefully like things like y'all are doing will bring cheerleading to the forefront and say like it's not just like spirit and something that you just do in high school and you get over. Like you said, Cheerisa, like she's
Yeah.
made a profession out of it and teaching young girls.
Yes.
So I mean, if we're gonna plug her, does she have a business where she trains and teaches people, or is she?
Yes, her business is Top Tier
Right.
Talent.
Okay.
So yeah, she is more. She's also the head coach right now. Well, I shouldn't say right now, but she's the head coach for Charleston Southern University. So she
Okay.
has that cheer
Awesome.
team. So she's moved from the high school level to the college level just in the short time that we've known her, and she's
Awesome.
amazing. She's taking those kids to, or they're not kids, they're college students.
Yeah, yeah,
but,
yeah.
but they feel like kids sometimes. But she's taking them to nationals
Yeah.
for the first time. So
For me, I
she's
feel
got
like
a big
college.
vision.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I feel the same way. Like they're kids. Like when even these NFL players. Like I grew up watching NFL and NBA, and like now, like when I was a kid, they were men, and now I'm like, this dude's 20. Like the best player on the Grizzlies is 23. Like
Right.
I'm 12, 14, 13 years older than this guy. Like
Yeah.
he's a kid compared
Yeah.
to me, you know. But I don't feel that way. I know you don't feel that way, but that's probably what keeps you grounded with your positive attitude. Like you know, like just age is how you feel sometimes. But
Sometimes.
so you said top cheer.
Top Tier Talent.
Top cheer talent.
Yeah,
So I'll try to, if she has Facebook and stuff like that, I'll try to tag her because I know that especially Haven. Thank you to my daughter. She's getting me a lot of followers that are, you know, she's bringing in the demographics
That's
for
right.
me. You know what I mean? Because I know that my analytics right now are 100% male, but she's bringing me into the female categories and showing that. So I hope that, you know, some of my daughter's friends and people that are trying to chase the cheer, that they will reach out to Cheerisa and get down with that. So
Yeah.
that's real cool.
Yeah, cheer
Like I
up
said, the
shop.
merch is so dope. This thing is so soft, and look, I look good in it, right? You know, so even the men, because her husband is my business partner, and so his daughter, their daughter, y'all's daughter, she cheers. And one thing that always cracked me up that he would talk about, because he would go to he's been telling me this season he's been going to the games and he's like cheering so hard for the team, and then the other dads are like, hey man, why are you here? Who's your son out there? He's like, that's my daughter. I'm here for the cheer, you know. And I was like, dude, that's so dope, because like I could see Randy doing that, just like, come on, that was a foul. And they're like, was that your son? He's like, no.
No.
My daughter's over there
No.
getting hoisted up and cheering. So
Yeah.
I love what y'all are doing. That's one of the main reasons I had you on, was for the cheer. But I also know that you have so many things going on.
Yeah.
The Hoppy Dream Sleep Company.
Yeah.
I have a pillow that she made me a special one with my Falcons on it. That's from time to time I'll curl up on my couch with. It smells so good. It's got hops in it, and it's got like a medley of things in it, right?
Sure, hops and mugwort, lavender, rose petals, jasmine.
So how did you get into that? Like it was just
Yeah, I honestly, it's just one of those things, and there was a conversation. I have business partners in everything I do, otherwise I couldn't do it. And I love to build community. That's like, I feel like that's a gift that we can give to everybody, is building of community. And so within these businesses, that's kind of what's happened, and everybody sort of brings their gifts and talents to the table, right? So one of my business partners, Al, was standing in Sierra Nevada, and he was like looking around at everything. If you haven't made it to the Sierra Nevada Brewery, when you go to Brevard, you gotta go there. It's amazing, you guys. It's such an amazing brewery, but a great restaurant. But the grounds are gorgeous. There's an amphitheater. They grow hops there. They grow all kind of flowers. You know, they've got walking trails, and it was just sourced really sustainably. But they have a huge gift shop. And so I was standing in there looking around, and he said, the one thing I don't see here is pillows. And so then we started looking into pillow fill and blah, blah, blah. And so then we find out about all the benefits of alpaca, right? And alpaca are actually quite plentiful. There was kind of a little alpaca craze that bubbled up, I guess maybe 15 years ago, 10 years ago, right? So there's a good bit of alpaca in the country. So again, we just started looking more and more into that. And then we had somebody start building a prototype. Al is a gardener at heart, and he had been growing hops, and we started doing some hops research, and we found out that Abraham Lincoln and King George II both slept with a satchel of hops at their pillow. So we were
great
like,
minds.
all right, how can we do this?
Right,
But
right.
hops is a real earthy scent. So we wanted to kind of soften those edges a little bit. So we worked with an herbalist to help create the blends that we use. So we have a floral blend, and we have a more earthy blend. I like that earthy scent.
Right, yeah. Me
That's
too.
the one I like
Yeah,
the best. But yeah, everything's handmade in Brevard.
That's
We
awesome.
source as locally as we can.
Okay, well, what I gather from the story the most is because like one thing I say on this podcast is like I want it to be about growth, and I want people to just be inspired. So what's so inspirational about what you do is when somebody starts talking about a dream around Kristi, she's like, how can we bring it to fruition? And I think that's something that everyone out there watching, you have to take that. Don't take it at just face value. Like, dig into that. Like, if you have something that if there's a niche that you feel that you can fill, like, it can be done. Like, there's all these barriers and borders, and like we've talked about, like the borders around cheerleaders, or the borders around being in a gift shop, or making your own pillow company. Like those things borders are meant to be like broken through, and boundaries and walls are meant to be tore down. So I that's why I love talking to her, because I've got a few people around me that are that same way. Like on the last podcast, I talked about my buddy Will, and Will was always like that. Like anytime I'd have an idea, it could be the simplest, we're just talking and be like, man, we should do it. And then like the next day, Will would have like a pamphlet and be like, dude, like if we do this and we do that and we do this, like we can have, you know what I mean? Like a hat company or a shirt company or this company. So I think that's super inspirational to the listeners and the viewers, to just be like, listen, if you want it, go grab it, go get it. Like,
sure.
Yeah, like if I said it with Omar, and you talked about Omar being so gracious and taking the photos for the website. What is the website before we move on?
Cheerupshop.com.
Cheerupshop.com. Go check it out. My last guest, Omar, did the photography work for it. It was freezing cold, as Kristi said. So y'all go check it out. The shop's open. Go get you some merch, please. I'll try to, like, she's got so many things going on that I'm gonna try to like drop all the links so that y'all can go get it, because everything she does is just to the T, man. Like everything. If I ever need anything, like I'm just like, this would be the person that I would call and be like, hey, I'm trying to start this or do this. She's like, oh, well, do. So that's really cool. So like, what gave you that attitude of just go get her? Was that something that your parents instilled into you, or school,
No.
or it's just like you just came out the womb just ready to take the world on?
I really didn't. I am quite cautious by nature, and in many respects, like I would call myself. This is a nod to Jackie Kelly, who says, "Are you an ice cream eater,
Shout out Jackie.
Or are you a roller coaster rider?" Like, I love that.
I want to have Jackie on too. I don't want to derail it, but I want to have Jackie. Shout out Jackie. I love Jackie.
Hi, Jackie. We love you.
Because she's very much in the same vein as you. Like if she sees, she goes after it.
She's amazingly focused and driven. Yes.
My bad.
For sure.
Derail,
but I am an ice cream eater by nature. I am not a roller coaster rider.
Okay.
My husband is a roller coaster rider, but it's funny how we sort of flip in this, right? He likes to be that foundation, and sort of tethers me and lets me kind of fly all over the place these days. So I'm appreciative of that. But No, my parents were very cautious, very do everything by the book. I was resisting it, but I was in a very sheltered, confined life. It just was, and it was great. It was wonderful, and I'm not knocking it. It's just that I came up very conservatively, and then I think that actually marrying Randy had a lot to do with it, because I felt supported by him so fully and completely that really anything I wanted to try, he was going to be okay with it.
Yeah.
You know, and then I always respected him and his music, and always wanted to be very supportive of that love that he has and that creativity that he has and gives to the world. And so there is a selfish part in that, and that is that if I'm giving it to him, he got to give it to me.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's, he kind of gave me again, the foundation and the support to feel like I could do whatever I wanted
So
to
he
try.
gave you the foundation and the freedom. So
Completely.
yeah. So that's real cool, man. So the next thing,
Yes.
she also has a store in Brevard.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, natural elements.
natural elements,
So
which ties into the hops and the alpaca and
we carry our pillow line. We definitely carry Happy Dreams in natural elements, and it is just a precious boutique, and we love it so much. It lets us be creative in so many ways. My business partner Cindy and I, and she's just a phenomenal person. Everybody loves her, right? Like, you go show up in natural elements and you are completely welcome. Like, it's just like,
100%. I've
here,
been there a
roast
few
a marshmallow.
times.
Here, have
I've been
some
there a few
cocoa.
times, and she's awesome,
She's
man.
amazing.
The whole vibe of the store is just very inviting, and
Yeah.
like I don't know, it's like you go into some stores and it's like you feel like, I gotta buy something or they're gonna be upset, and like there it's just like, no, it's like if you like it, like I just, you walk in and
Yeah,
it's just
there's not
like,
any
hey, you're
pressure.
home. Yeah, you just feel home. It's
Uh-huh.
like, hey, check out what you want to check out, and grab it and check out if you want to
Right.
check out.
And
Like,
and
yeah,
we really
yeah.
encourage people to, like, pick it up, touch it, smell it,
Right, right.
listen to it, whatever it might be that
Yeah,
you're attracted
feel
to.
the like energy of it.
Yeah.
Like there's this very, very cool, dope energy in the store and that whole area, and y'all's house up there and everything. Just like, it's just a real dope vibe.
It's
You know what I
such
mean?
a
It feels
gentle.
It feels good. Like,
It's a gentle town, and we've been welcomed there, and we're so grateful. And part of the store is small batch handcrafted, so that's a way that we sort of can give back,
Yeah.
right? Because it's hard to drive people to your website to buy your merch, right? That's hard
Definitely.
to do that. It's hard to show up at a farmer's market all the time. I mean, these people work so hard, and Natural Elements allows small batch handcrafted handcrafters to bring their goods to our store, and we give it a vehicle, right, to get it to the public.
yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna say too. Is like, if you're an artisan or an
Yeah.
artist, or you make soaps or trinkets or whatever, reach out to Kristi and see if she can help you
Totally.
get it in her store. She would love it. I mean, that's what I love about Kristi, is she is like always trying to help somebody else get to their dreams, or just even if she can't get you all the way there, just be that piece that gets you to the next little stop, and then the next stop, and the next stop. So she's always just trying to bring people up and brighten their day, and you have no worries or reservations with her. I promise you, she will look out. So I love that. I just so what would you say to somebody, because I know you said that Randy kind of gave you, sorry, Randy's her husband, but I know you said your husband gave you the kind of freedom and the base to feel like you could chase the things that you want to chase. So but what would you say to somebody that's younger? Like, if you could go back, like maybe before you met Randy, like maybe some regrets you have about not taking certain steps or certain things. What would you say to somebody that's younger, that's on the verge of like either falling into conformity, or trying to like branch out and let their wings spread a little bit? Like, what would you say to somebody?
I think some people need conformity.
Oh yeah.
Right? I do. I think
100%.
there are those of us that really need those boxes, and you thrive within that. I don't know if it's because I'm Sagittarius, or they
Yeah.
probably a little sprinkle of ADD in there, but
Well,
I gotta,
I'm Aries, so
I gotta
I
keep
need
it.
I need a box back.
You gotta have that fire thing going on. I just need to have my hands in a lot of different cookie jars. So I would say to anybody who's feeling that way, right, who's feeling the need to step out, just trust your gut, like the whole way. Trust your vibe. Know who you can rely on, who your support people are. Be with people that inspire you, and ask them how they have accomplished things. To people that you find inspiring, talk to them. Everybody's loves to know that somebody's thought well of them, right? And then if
Right.
you can bestow some of your good knowledge, whether it was, hey, don't, you might want to avoid this,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, I think it is all about, again, going back to that building of community, and build your community, and always trust your vibe. Always.
Right. Yeah.
No matter what your community says.
Yeah.
You got to end up trusting your vibe in the
Oh,
end.
that's great advice, because I know that a common theme with my guests so far has been believe in yourself. But and I wholeheartedly believe in that for sure. But one thing that I've been trying to do more of is believe in others. So I like that you're saying that, because you can't really get anywhere by yourself. Like it's good to believe in yourself, but like 99% of things that get accomplished have a team. You know what I mean? Like today we got Jeff back here working the cameras. I've got my wife being supportive. You're here supporting all the viewers that are supporting this. So like, I'd be remiss to say that like, I had a vision and I'm just doing this all on my own. Like, I didn't have anybody and I did it all on my own. Like, that's not true. So like, I like what you're talking about, like community, and just it doesn't take anything really to just believe in somebody. And instead of beating people down, like, if you can't help them, say, look, I don't know, I don't see it, I don't see how that's gonna work, but I hope it works for you. Believe, send them on their way. But if you can, like, put a hand out, help somebody up. It's not that hard. Like, it doesn't take that much.
Not at all.
And like what killed me, I had my buddy. You've met Los the host.
Yeah.
You came to a couple poetry shows, but
he's impressive fella.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. But what killed me was he was talking about being in foster care, and I asked him kind of the same question I asked you, but I was like, if what could somebody what would you tell somebody, at that age or whatever, but what he said was nobody had ever told him that they believed in him, so luckily at the end, when I ended the podcast, I was just like, I believe in you, brother. I believe in you, and like, to see his eyes light up, like he wasn't lying. Like nobody had ever told him that they believed in him, and that really like hit me in the heart and the soul. I was just like, if you got people that are close to you and they're striving to do, like, they're entrepreneurs, they're artisans, they're musicians, they're bankers, they're mortgage brokers, whatever they're doing, that they've really poured their heart and passion into, and for you to just like beat them down or be jealous of their successes, or prey on their downfalls is like crazy to me. I'm just like, just tell them you believe in them, like, or if you're a parent, like, tell your children that you believe in them. Like, you know what I mean? If you're a friend, if you're a coworker, like, I don't see how it's so hard for people to like just let that guard down. So
I think there's a thought that there's not enough in the world. Right?
Scarcity.
So yeah,
like
if you're coming from a place of lack, then how you don't have that to give, right? So if you're recognizing there's plenty in the world, there's enough for everybody. We might not be distributing it properly right now, right? Nor have we in the past, but let's strive for that in the future. So how can we participate in that?
So okay, well that gives me great insight to the way that your mind works, because you see the glass, is half full. We got more to get too. It's not half empty, like, oh, we're running out. It's like we we're adding to. So that's real cool because that's how I look
It's
at
like
it.
the crows. Remember the crows? They put the pebbles in it,
Yeah.
in the half glass of half
Yeah,
water,
and it
right?
makes
So
it
that
come
it
up so that they
rises.
can drink it.
May we all be crows.
Yeah, can we all be crows, or maybe ravens. I like ravens.
Ravens, yeah, they're pretty sweet.
Edgar Allan Poe. So, I don't know, man. I just, like I said, Kristi is just such a, you're, the way that you look at things is very similar to me, like I feel like, and I like bouncing ideas off of you, and I like that, you don't let any idea fall to the wayside. You know what I mean? Like you make sure, like, if we got an idea, let's sit here, let's cultivate it, let's look at it from every angle, and if it's not the greatest idea, then but we don't just like, that's not a good idea. Like every idea,
Yeah.
like to me, you're like a nurturer and a cultivator. So that's real cool. That's how I like to look at life a lot. So you're also, I talked about like mortgage brokers and things like that, but I know that you also do. I told you, like, she does it all. So anybody that's sitting here and going, I can't do this, I can't do that, you can't do one thing.
Yeah.
She's doing 100 things, and she's doing them all very well, and she's humble and gracious about it. I know she's probably tired of, like, me complimenting her and giving her all this.
This is the best, y'all.
Yeah, okay. But I just, I got people that are watching and listening, and they're probably like, how do I do this or how to do that, so I know that you're into the lending. You used to be a real estate agent, so how are some ways that people can, build their credit up, or make sound investments or financial things like that,
So I'm so far out of the box in the mortgage world,
Okay.
right? So I am what's called a private mortgage broker. Sometimes it's called hard money lending. It's a very different way of borrowing and a different way of lending. So it is peer-to-peer, person-to-person lending. There are no banks involved. There's no mortgage company involved. The lender, who is an individual, is actually lending money utilizing real estate as collateral. So they're short-term loans, but they're bridge loans. They'll get you from where you want to be to where you need to go, so that once your credit is established, or oftentimes it has nothing to do with credit. More often than not, it doesn't. It has to do with people have fix and flips, that they need to move very quickly. So they just build these rates in, and they know how long it's going to take them to flip. You have a hard time going to a bank to get like a loan for like 3 or 4 months. So we have that, and then we also do distressed places. So we have a gentleman that we've worked with who buys historic houses in downtown, but they're like falling apart, right? They're dilapidated. The bank is not going to lend on that. So that's where we can come in and do a private mortgage loan. So that's out of everything we've talked about, that's the one that pays the bills.
Yeah.
The other ones are wonderful, and I love them so much, but they are my creativity. This one is actually the
breadwinner.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's even though it might not be the most fun thing to talk about, it's great advice. It shows, like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Like, be creative and follow your creative desires, but do the sound financial and smart things so that you can, because that's what's cool about it is, like, you understand, like, I'm doing this, and I'm this is how I can make the money to fund these other projects and these dreams that I have, and bring those to fruition as well.
And I do like it. Like, don't get me wrong. I absolutely like it, because it allows someone who couldn't meet that goal, who couldn't get to that vision, right, come into fruition. This allows them to do that. So it continues to be community building. It continues to be helping people achieve their goals and dreams. And that is a really cool thing to be a part of.
100%. I know that, like, my sister-in-law, I don't want to put all her business out there, but I know that a few years ago she decided to do that. She became like I don't know all the logistics of
Mm-hmm.
it, but it's the same thing with hard money lending. So for instance, if you just got a job, say you're an engineer or something, and you just signed up for this job and you're gonna make $200,000 this year, but your credit or something's not exactly right,
Mm-hmm.
and so they're not wanting to let you buy a home or a car.
Yeah.
This is an alternative to that,
Absolutely.
where
Yeah.
it's like, look, I don't have the 3 years of credit history or
Mm-hmm.
occupational history that you need, but somebody that
Yeah.
can lend the money that way.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, they see
So
you as a person, right? We're looking at you as a person, not to knock the other way of doing it, but we see you as an individual. What you have, what your again,
right.
what your goal is, and as opposed to do you fit into all of the boxes that need to be checked?
100%. So if you've got some disposable income and you want to lend money, then you can get with her. Or
Heck yeah,
if you need to be lent money
you
and
can get with me too.
you can get with her too. So either way that you want to go about it is the way to go. So um, also I I have to say that everything you do is just so like gracious, and you don't ever like make anybody feel on the outs. So that's a super
Thank
cool
you.
way to go about life. So is there anything that okay, so do you have an online shop for your store as well? Because I want to plug everything as well as we go along. Like is your
Sure. Hoppy, well, Hoppy Dreams Sleep Company.com. That's Hoppy with an Hoppy. Natural Elements is on Facebook because that demographic is generally females 40 and over. So we know where we're finding our
yeah,
people,
yeah, yeah.
right? Cheerupshop.com. That's going to be Instagram for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, and private mortgage funding, just, yeah, hit me up. Wilco Capital.
Get her going, get her going, get her going. Um, have you ever thought about going? I know you and Randy are talking about retiring in Brevard, so and you're flipping houses there. So have you have you thought about what you're gonna do? Is your daughter coming with y'all, or y'all gonna
I don't
like,
know.
or the family? Like, how have you?
Yeah, so a lot of what we do will center around, of course, where she goes to school, right? So she's got to look at Charleston Southern University, right? Because Teresa is there.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Teresa,
I love that you
we
dubbed her
stuck
that.
on
That's
it.
so precious. Because Teresa is there. So she's looking at Charleston Southern. She's also looking at Brevard. So there's a
Yeah.
college in Brevard. I would love for her to look at Western North Carolina. So we've talked about that a little bit. But she doesn't really know where she's going to go yet. She's just a junior, so she's got a little time to think about it. And then what we do will sort of center around, right, where she's going to go. But I think we'll always keep a foot in Charleston.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get
Yeah, I
at.
think we're always going to
Are
have a
y'all,
foot in Charleston.
am I gonna see y'all or not?
Yeah. I have a sneaking suspicion we'll do the opposite of what we're doing now, right? So, like, right now we have a small place in Brevard and we have
Right.
our home in Charleston. I think it's probably going to flip, with
Where
right
you'll
after
have the
Ava
home in
goes. Yeah.
Brevard and come back to
Yeah, and we'll have a
Charleston.
small place in Charleston
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Randy's business. Music is going to require him to be coming
Yeah,
back.
yeah,
I think
for
And
sure, for sure.
It would break his heart to not have the closeness that he has with all of you.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I plugged him on the Omar episode because when this comes out, the show will already be done. But I know they're playing at Mustache. But we'll plug. He's playing with Mason Jar, Mason Jar Music. Her husband is the guitarist in Mason Jar Music, and we're playing opening up for Saliva on Easter Sunday. So y'all come through. Are you coming to that one?
Absolutely.
All
You can't
right.
miss a Mason Jar show.
Well, if you want
It's
to,
so fun.
right? We have a blast. So if you want to come talk to her about cheerleading, pillows, mortgages,
Jeez.
natural elements, sell it. You come bring your trinkets,
Come
your
on.
soaps. Like, come pitch your idea. If you got a completely new idea, come pitch it to Kristi because she will definitely have at least some grace and some insight into what you're trying to do. I guess like one question I wanted to know was like, what gives you your positive attitude? Because I know we spoke about before the podcast. I know a lot of the people that's been on the podcast have had like traumas and stuff that led them to their positive attitude, and I don't think that's always the case. Like some people are just positive. So like what gives you your positivity? Is it just having the good base of your husband and your kids and good people around you, but or do you make sure that you have those things like good people around you and good things like
Oh
what
yeah,
keeps you
I
positive?
think I've definitely cultivated
Yeah.
a really strong village and some really wonderful people in my life. I've been super fortunate in that regard. And then nobody's positive all the time, right? But if you can stay in gratitude about anything, then that is an enormous step in and shifting your energy and how you feel about the day and whatnot. I try to get outside in nature a good bit as much as I can with everything else going on in the day, and I think that is an enormous part of it too.
Yeah, yeah. So like, yeah, because I feel like being out in the world, or not the world like people wise, but in nature, it kind of grounds you. Like anytime you can make yourself feel small, you know what I mean? Because I think we're taught a lot of times to just make ourselves like we're almost like bears, like give us our bravado and make yourself feel big, and like whenever you can really just be like underneath a waterfall or next to a 200-foot sequoia or something, like anything like that, where you're just like, wow, like this world is so vast, so like this tree doesn't have any problems. Like look how long it's been growing, so like why am I worried about these little tiny things when I'm just here for such a
Yeah.
minute and small amount of time. I should like really ground myself and get back to ground zero. So that's great advice. Just maybe go out, meditate, find something that just reconnects you with that positive energy. Yeah.
I think so. I try to hit the beach when I'm in Charleston 3 times a week, and Ashley. A little shout out to
Yeah,
Ashley
yeah.
too.
Berkey Burb.
Berkey Berg. She and I hit the beach like 3 times a week, and that's huge. I mean,
Yeah.
we could talk about anything from that war from in Afghanistan and how that all came to be and end, and or we can talk about like the color of toenail polish, but
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
the whole time it's
Everything in
just
between.
it's beautiful. It's the horseshoe crab
Yeah.
that we saw this morning that was massive, and but some days it's the dolphin and some days it's jellyfish, and
Right.
but there's always something new and beautiful to look at. And then on top of that, having that time to just talk things out with someone that I love and I trust, and I know she holds my feelings really tenderly, and I do the same with her. And I think having again people in your life like that can also, you can get it out. It's sort of like the artist's way. Remember the artist? Have you done the artist's way?
What's that?
Okay, so it's a book, but it's a method of moving yourself into creativity. And in each day, they suggest that you start what's called the morning pages, and so you write like all that jumbled stuff that's in your head, good
Oh,
stuff, bad
nice,
stuff,
nice.
whatever stuff. I'm worried about this, and then you've gotten it all out for the entire day, and that's my beach walks are sort of like that. It's sort of like the morning pages,
Yeah, yeah.
getting out all of that stuff so that when I get back at like 10 a.m., I can really be more focused.
I'm gonna have to try that out. I'm gonna need that. I will
The
probably have
artist's
to do
way.
it at night though. But I guess if you're supposed to do it in the morning, do it in the morning. But my
Yeah.
problems are
Don't question the artist's way.
no, I won't question it. But my problems are always that when I lay my head down at night, that's when
Yeah.
my mind's like.
Yeah, but if you flushed them in the morning,
Okay,
right?
that makes sense. So I just need to flush them out when I wake up, like everything I already thought about last
Try,
night. Is blah, 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 blah.
try. Who am I to tell
I'll
you
try it out. I
how
love a
to-
good book and I love a good way to release. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
Well-
when you were talking about walking on the beach, and we could talk about the war in Iraq or toenail polish, like anything in between. It kind of reminded me of this book I read a while back by this what's his name? I don't know if it's David or something, but I know his last name's Crowder. He's in a band called Crowder is the name of the band, and it's I think it's a Christian band. And I'm not super religious guy or whatever, but the book that he had was called that, and I read it. It was a great book. It's called The Praise Habit or something, but it's called Finding God in Sushi and Sunsets, and it's kind of what you're talking about. So like, uh, whether it's sushi, a sunset, toenail polish, the war in Iraq, like find your gratitude and the grace and the thankfulness for whatever the moment is or whatever it is, if it's this couch or if it's alpaca.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like find your gratitude and find your grace. Speaking of gracious, I don't know if Randy told you this, but I ran into Steven.
Oh,
So shout out to Accent on Wine and our boy Steven if you're ever in Park Circle. They got another one in West Ashley or
yeah.
Somewhere.
There's a few of them, and I'm sorry. I think there's Somerville, I think.
Yeah.
North Charleston, Mount Pleasant.
A good
maybe?
friend of hers, husband works at Accent on Wine, but I ran into Steven and he was very gracious to us. They had quit
Always.
serving. They had quit serving wine. And we were in Park Circle for St. Patty's Day, and they had quit serving wine. And Raven was like, I really want a glass of wine. And she had walked over there and went inside, and they were like, oh, we're done serving. And I wasn't with her. And she walked back across the street and was like, Michael, that guy's in there, that or whatever. And I was like, I don't know nobody works in there because I had totally slipped my mind. And she was like, the British guy. And I was like, Steven? She was like, yeah. She was like... I was like, oh, so you want me to go in there and get you a glass of wine? Like, he already closed. Right. And she was like, come on, like, let's just walk over there. I was like, all right. And Raven don't ever ask for a glass of wine. So I was like, all right. And we went over there and we talked we ended up in there for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Talking.
That was so charming.
And then I was like, you think she can get a glass of wine? And he was like, yeah, what she want? She was like, she likes Romeo. So he just pulls out a bag and throws a whole bottle of Romeo and gives it to us and was like, send us on our way. I was like, dude, you don't have to do that. How much we owe you? He's like, no, mate, this is your bottle of wine. So very, very sweet and gracious guy, man. I have to give a shout out to Stephen. If you're ever over at Accent on Wine. Is he British?
Yeah. He's from Liverpool.
Liverpool, that's right.
Like a Beatle.
I guess it's the same way as Americans. Like, I don't want to call him like British if he's, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to call somebody something they're not.
Yeah. No, you definitely don't want to do that.
Like, especially over there. Like, if you call somebody Scottish and they're Irish, they're going to be like,
they're going to be pissed,
yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I thought he was British. So, Liverpool, shout out to Steven, man. He's a great guy, man. And go to
guy.
Accent on Wine.
Yeah.
And
he's got a great wife.
Oh, yeah, Mary. Shout out Mary. So, Mary is awesome. And we were talking about Jackie Kelly, so I want to have her on. And that'll be dope. Like I said, her husband's Randy. I own a business with him. Like, we haven't talked about that on the podcast either. So we do all kind of things, man. If you need pillows, marble and granite, you need music, you need
poetry,
cheer up. You need wine. We've got it all figured out. We got it all figured out. Another thing I want to do is ask you, what's something that if you're thinking about becoming an entrepreneur or anything like that, what's some advice you would give people to think about? Like, what's some things to look out for or be wary of, or some things that might help them
be realistic. Yeah, be realistic, and your idea, whatever it is great. I'm sure of it. Be realistic with it, and recognize that it is. There are stages of business that it's in its infancy, right? And then it's sort of a toddler, and it's kind of wobbling around, and long before you get to the running point, before you get to that, we're all making money and it feels great. You've got to be able to know that you can support yourself, or that you have already saved enough for you to be able to, kind of struggle for a little bit. Most businesses, from what I understand, don't even turn a profit for the first 3 years. So again, be realistic, know your numbers. And again, going back to have people around you that you can trust, that are going to tell you the truth, and know also that you're going to stumble a little bit, but that's okay. Just get back up,
Mm-hmm.
and try it a different way. Take a different path. I know Hoppy Dreams in particular, our pillow company, we had all sorts of different ideas and thoughts and plans about where we were going to go with it, and also Natural Elements. We opened them in January of COVID. Everything got closed in March, right? What do you do when you have these two brand new businesses? None of our bills stopped. We still had a lease. We still had seamstresses. We still had alpaca fleece that we had to go get and get cleaned. I mean, all of these things still had to happen. Nobody saw that coming.
Right.
So just be aware that there can be mitigating circumstances, and there
Right,
can be
right.
things that just like fly at you that you never even thought of. Be prepared for those things, and don't be afraid of those things. Oftentimes our stumbles or our losses are where we can find our successes as well.
Right, right. Where you can grow. Like that's 100% true. Which is a big part of this podcast is like finding those spots where growth can occur. You know what I mean? Like for sure. So as an entrepreneur, like, would you say like the first thing? Well, obviously the first thing you're going to have is the idea, and that's where it's in its infancy. You have the idea. Do you go get your LLC after you have the idea, or do you incorporate it, or like what are the steps?
Yeah.
Do you need to write out your business plan and like have a itemized, like I'm
That
trying to
depends.
get into
Yeah,
like
if you're
your
going to ask money, if you're
yeah.
going to ask somebody for money, yes, you have to have a business plan that's completely itemized, and show them where all the funds are going to go and how you're going to make money. And yes, you do. You have to go through all of those things if you're going to go at it in that direction.
Right,
Yes,
right.
if you again, if you're going to get a loan, you do have to have that real strategy in place, which is always good to have a strategy, although
Yeah.
I tend to just kind of wing it.
Just wing it.
Just
Yeah,
let's just wing it. We want to be compliant, right? So when we opened our when we opened our real estate, our small real estate company, you mentioned Fix and Flips. I just knew that that's what we were going to do, right? So let's just get an LLC, and then I
Yeah.
called the CPA, and that really was just kind of winging it. I am fortunate when I talk about having fix and flips, because I do have a private mortgage business, right? So I've got people already in line that are
Yeah.
able to fund these things. So again, go back to who do you know? How can you
Yeah,
make this
cultivate
happen,
your
right? Put
relationships,
those together.
network. I've been
Yeah.
saying that on every podcast. I feel like is like network, network, network. There's no greater thing than networking and like outsourcing and use your people like somebody
But networking with honesty, networking right,
100%.
with integrity, not this surface. I'm showing up to this monthly meeting or whatever because I
Yeah.
have to, and I have to give all my business to this person I don't really feel that
Right,
good about.
right.
Right, that doesn't feel
Yeah.
right. So.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely have to keep your guard up on that end. Is like you got to know it's hard because you got to know when somebody's BSing,
Yeah.
when somebody's just trying to get over on you. But I know Jeff and I and Omar were talking, and one of the things like me and Omar were talking about is like, and my boy Will used to always say, is a friend is a friend of use, and he doesn't mean it in a negative way. It's like, can I use you? In the sense of like, oh, for instance, you used Omar to take the photography
Got
for
you.
your thing, even though he may have got paid, he may have got, but you were able to utilize
Yeah.
his skills, and then your business partner, you're able to utilize his knowledge of this or that. So like that's what I'm kind of meaning by like network and grow with people, and like you said, cultivate your connections so that whenever you need a band, oh well, I got a band. Whenever you need a photographer, I got a photographer. You need a videographer, oh, you need somebody with a business mind.
Yeah.
You got this, you got that. You know what I mean? That's what I'm kind of saying is like, I think people underestimate, and what I meant earlier too about having a team. It's not like we got to meet every Thursday and be a team, but it's just like, hey man, I'm honest. like you said, I'm honest with you, you're honest with me, and I can help you this way, you can help me that way. So let's help each other so that I can grow and you can grow. Just like you coming on this podcast, like I know you might feel like I'm like giving you a chance to speak about, but to me it's like you're giving me a chance to interview somebody who's just got like such a great mind and such a insightful way about life and stuff like that. So it's like iron sharpens iron. Like we can help each other grow and cultivate, you know, and like we can put out content that I hope that people watch and realize that like positivity, one, and desire and drive, and like there's like I don't know, there's like 7 fruits of the entrepreneurial spirit, you know what I mean? Like have a joy about what you're doing, have a kindness about what you're doing, have a desire and a drive about what you're doing, and just like I said earlier, give people a hand up when you can, because you're going to need a hand up eventually in whatever path you're taking. Absolutely. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate you coming on and giving people and dropping gems on people. So
I appreciate you giving me the opportunity.
100%. It's been so much fun. Is there anything you would like to tell people, like just in closing, about life or anything in general?
Oh
like,
my gosh, about life?
Yeah.
Watch Mike's podcast.
The water pod.
That's my advice.
Yeah.
Hang out with this guy as much as you can.
Yeah. I feel like she hates when I say this because I don't like to say this that much, but she reminds me so much of my mom. It's like hanging out with my mom a lot, because I don't want to say that because, you know, like she
we're like a year apart.
But it's true, man. It's facts, man. Like she's just a free spirit. It's like a, you know, a gypsy and a hippie, but she's like a sophisticated hippie, you know what I mean? She's got some sophistication to her, but she's just such a free spirit, and I just enjoy every moment I get to spend with her, man. It's just such a blessing to know people like you, and yeah, thank you very much, man. I'm so grateful to have these relationships, and like I said, the cheer up. So if you're down, look at this. How could you be down in a peach?
You can't be
cheer
down
up.
in
you
a
can't be down
cantaloupe colored sweatshirt.
So let's give them the rundown before we get off of here. So we got Cheer Up, and you can go up on cheerupshop.com.
Cheerupshop.com, yeah.
Cheerupshop.com.
Yep.
If you want to go see top cheer talent.
Yeah.
For your kids with Cheerisa. Like, we're never calling her nothing ever again. Like, forever, she's Cheerisa.
You're welcome,
if you want to go
Cheerisa.
see her, yes, ma'am. Go see her. Take your kids there. Get her, get them down.
She's got some great
Or
programs.
also, if you have daughters or sons or people that are looking to go to college soon, she might be able to hook you up with CSU. It's a great college. Very, very good institution. One of the kids on my son's basketball team is going there next year. His name's Jarrell, so look out for Jarrell. He's an awesome kid, and they offered him a scholarship there, so hopefully he does well there. If you need a pillow that's going to help you get to sleep, go to Hoppy Dreams.
HoppyDreamSleepCompany.com.
Yes, ma'am. Go there. If you're ever in Brevard, please go check out Natural Elements. Yes. If you have anything that you would like to put in her store, reach out to me or her personally. I'm going to tag her in this episode. Obviously, I'm going to try to drop all of her tags in there so you can go find all these things we've been talking about, obviously. And if you have questions other than that, reach out to us individually or however you want to get down. Like I said, every episode I like to say, think harder, work smarter, and if you want it to grow, just add water. Kristi Reagor, Water Boy, it's the Water Pod.
I'm feeling unfazed, like a dog being unchained, a creature being uncaged, bloody Sundays, but the memory lasts longer than the blood stains. I'm feeling unwell, shit is unreal, can't forget the way a gun feels. Love kills, take another, I don't give a fuck pill. If that don't kill me, then I guess the love will. I'm feeling too many feelings, too many villains in my story. Feel like I can't feel it, empty cup, can you feel it for me? Yeah, that bottle with the dust on it, yeah, that truck with all the rust on it. It look a little rough, don't it? But it'll teach you what to trust, won't it? Won't it? A little dust, so the bottom.